It's 2:02 p.m. in Los Angeles on Tuesday, the 8th of May, 2012. I'm Mark Strassman, reporter with Utopia News. I'm about to talk to J.P. Hollembaek, who's running for state representative in Massachusetts. I think he's in Lowell. Welcome to Utopia News.
Good to be here.
Tell us why you're running for state representative.
Well, I've been interested in politics for a long time. My major in college is political science, and I was in the military a few years ago. I worked in intelligence analysis. So focusing on issues and politics and trends is something that I've been interested in for a very long time. So I decided that since I'm 27 and it's an election year, I figured it might be time for me to put my hand in the ring.
Okay. Tell us about the district you're running in.
I'm running for the 16th district of Middlesex. It is a district kind of half and half of the two towns here of Lowell and Chelmsford. Lowell is one of the cities with UMass, our state school here, so it's kind of evolving into a college town, and historically it's been very involved with the Industrial Revolution, with mills, with various forms of industry, and we're seeing things like that being focused on even now.
Okay, tell us about the incumbent.
The incumbent is Representative Mark Golden. He's a Democrat. He's been in for about 15 years. He hasn't been challenged in 4, so he's pretty well entrenched, but it's possible that he may be getting complacent.
Okay. Why did you run as a member of the Massachusetts Pirate Party and not as a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, I don't think that the two-party system is really serving the American people. I find that limiting ourselves to that is really not allowing us to do a lot of the options which a wider range of politics would give us. The reason I chose the Pirate Party itself is because I've seen the performance in Europe, particularly in Sweden, Germany, places like that, and I thought that we could use a lot of their policies here, such as focusing on privacy, civil liberties, and government transparency.
Okay, say a little bit more about what the Massachusetts Pirate Party stands for.
Our primary interest right now is personal privacy and government transparency. We think that the individual citizen should know more about what the government is doing, and that the government should know less about what the individual citizen is doing.
Now, is this important but limited issue enough to create a party around?
I would say it is a very important issue, and I will say that I have been getting a lot of support in my conversations with people on the street. I've noticed that this kind of question seems to be kind of being left by the wayside by both the Republicans and the Democrats. It seems that we've kind of gleefully leapt into a security state, which I don't think many of us are actually comfortable with.
Okay. Tell us about the Pirate Party and how it functions. Is it different from the Democrats and Republicans in the way it's organized?
Well, yes, in a number of ways. Firstly, it's much smaller, so it doesn't have a lot of the infrastructure or budget requirements that a larger party would have. That allows us a lot of options for network-formed hierarchy so that individuals can talk to each other side to side as opposed to having a pyramid hierarchy structure. For example, I'm able to talk with individual pirates or the captain of the pirate party with no problems. And what that's allowed us to do is distributed a lot of information very quickly, and I think that that kind of network structure is really going to help us out in the next upcoming elections.
Are you using the internet heavily in your campaign?
Yes, my intent is to be using the internet heavily in my campaign. I'm interested in advertising, Facebook advertising, Google ads. There are a number of demographic studies that can be used online to find out what exactly Lowell is and what they need. So that is an area of research which I'm definitely following up on.
Okay, let's talk a little bit in more depth about some of the issues that the Pirate Party is raising, particularly the proper protection of intellectual property. What do you think is the proper policy for that?
Well, I would say the Pirate Party is concerned by the amount of control that individual corporations can have over intellectual property. One thing that I would be concerned about is that we are having a system which, in some ways, is diminishing the amount of personal production of intellectual property that can be made, as opposed to encouraging it as the patent system was originally designed to do. One interesting example that I've seen with this is Bain Books, which is a publisher. They actually publish their books for free online with the idea that people will read these books as if they would in the library, and then buy them and increase the availability of and productivity of being books. So that's a business model which I'm very interested in.
Is it ironic that you're using Facebook, and Facebook has been often cited as a violator of people's privacy?
You could say it's ironic. I'd also say it's just the necessary tool in our times. Facebook has, I believe, something like 500 million consumers. That kind of medium is really quite necessary for a lot of the interactions of the Pirate Party, of the millennial generation, and a lot of the voters. So while I do agree that Facebook does have a lot of privacy issues, and I do hope that certain regulations could be encouraged to improve them in the future, I think at this point using Facebook is rather necessary in most venues.
Okay. What's the concept of government transparency mean? Why does it matter, and how much of it would you like to see?
I would like to see quite a lot about it. I know that the Tea Party side of the House is interested in budget transparency, seeing very much of what the government is doing, what's being spent on, if we think that's beneficial or in the interest of the American people. On the civil liberties side of the House, not having a clear and transparent government or judicial process can be very dangerous. We can have people picked up, vanished, sent to Gitmo, and no trial. And that's very, very dangerous. So having the kind of transparency in a judicial system which would show evidence as opposed to secret evidence which you can't show, and having access to lawyers and having an access to the general judicial system would help tremendously in maintaining freedom.
Okay, do you go so far as to say you'd like to see congressional negotiations televised online?
Yeah, I used to run in student government, and one of the big things that I was interested in was that I think that a lot of the committee work should be shown online. Practically speaking, I don't think many people will watch a lot of it because, honestly, a lot of it is fairly boring, but some of it is very, very interesting, and it's important for that to be able to be accessed by the American people. Some of these deals, some of these committees being made, we don't know what they're doing. We don't know what deals are being made, and with the intersection of Citizens United with corporate sponsorship, we don't know what money is going where or why. And I think that would be very important to decrease the amount of corruption that we see in the American system today.
Okay, do you and the Pirate Party of Massachusetts have policy positions on what we could call legacy issues like the economy, energy policy, immigration, education, and so on?
As a new party, we're still developing our way towards that, and being in Massachusetts, we tend to be, I would say, on the liberal side of the fence. Myself, personally, I'm a civil libertarian. I'm very focused on the individual having the autonomy and ability to live their own life, as long as it doesn't interfere with other people.
Okay. Do you know about the liquid software program that the German pirates use?
I'm not familiar with it, but I know that members of the Pirate Party have been interested in it.
Okay. Do you have any interest in transferring it over to the U.S. and having the Pirate Party of Massachusetts use it, if you could do that?
I would need to look at the actual capabilities of it. I'm always interested in seeing what other countries and other organizations are able to do, and if I think that their methods are better than ours, then I'll quite cheerfully use them.
Okay. How much media coverage has your campaign been getting, and what's the slant that it's been taking?
It's been getting more than I expected, and that's quite pleasing to me. I was actually surprised to be hearing from someone in California to be doing an interview with me, so that was quite nice. I would say it's been mostly positive. I would say a lot of the media has been fairly cautious but intrigued by a new party with, the silly name. So I'm pretty pleased with how it's been going so far.
Okay. Are there going to be candidate forums where you're going to get to meet and debate the incumbent?
I know that other media forums have asked that before. I have not heard from the incumbent at this time, so it's something that I would be open to, but it would have to be discussed with him.
Okay. When is the election?
The election is November 6th.
November 6th. And is there a primary, or is it all in at once, or how does that work? I
believe that the primaries have already been worked through, in that I'm the only one running for the Pirate Party and he's the only one running for the Democratic Party, so I think it's just us.
Okay. What kind of volunteer effort have you been able to generate so far?
Mostly just local effort. I've had a handful of pirates come from Boston and the other parts of Massachusetts come up and help, and I've been relying a fair bit on personal friendships and relationships to help me do various things such as collecting signatures and whatnot.
Okay. How many signatures did you have to collect, and was that very difficult?
We had to collect 150 good signatures. I've collected 300, and I've submitted them. They're being verified right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't find them too difficult to collect. It was my first time doing signature collection, so there was a bit of the culture shock, a bit of the getting used to walking up to people and asking for signatures. But after I got into the mode of it, it was a little bit easier.
What was the reaction of people when you told them that you were members of you were running on the Pirate Party platform?
It got some laughs. It got a bit of confusion sometimes. But when I explained that our core issues were privacy and transparency, that did get a lot of support.
What kind of fundraising efforts do you think you're going to need, and what have you been doing so far?
Well, a couple of friends of mine have been interested in supporting me. I mean, this is very much a shoestring operation, being as it's a new party and a new candidate running for his first time. It's possible that some of the various players may try to put money into the campaign to face off against a Democrat. I think that they're waiting to see how I do in the next couple of weeks to come.
Okay. And what are you going to be doing in terms of your campaign?
There are a couple different approaches I'm doing. Firstly, I'm doing media relations, such as with people with yourself or with newspapers and media up here. Alternately, I'm also looking at pamphlets, Facebook advertising, Google advertising. I'm trying to get a study of the area so that I can make a practical build on what to do from then on.
Okay, given your support for the policies of privacy, do you think you're going to get some support from Silicon Valley?
I would hope so. I mean, Silicon Valley is decently far away from here, but in the bigger perspective, I do think that Silicon Valley and the Pirate Party do have a lot of connection. We both have equal concerns about SOPA, about CISPA, a lot of the privacy and government intrusion on various technology programs. So I can see a lot of working together here in the future. After
all, the team that built the Macintosh flew a pirate flag over their office.
I did not know that. That's encouraging.
Yes.
I like to think that we can definitely see some common interests here in the future.
Okay, how has your experience in the military shaped your views, and how has it prepared you to be a state representative?
I did 2 primary tasks in the military. I worked with the infantry and I worked with intelligence analysis. My experience in intelligence analysis is more my natural inclination. I like to look at studies and statistics and make recommendations based on them. My time in the infantry kind of made me look at the real practicalities of what happens at the end of policy. I mean, it's all well and good to have a policy at the desk, but there are people, their boots on the ground, the tip of the spear, that have to enact that policy. So it's had me do a real understanding of what happens when someone writes a policy and tries to get it through the local Congress, and what happens from then on.
Okay, you were involved with Occupy Lowell?
Yes, that's correct. I worked...
And how did that shape what you're bringing to the campaign?
That was a really fun experience. When Occupy Boston kicked off, I noticed that it was a fair bit of distance from my current location, so I kind of started and organized Occupy Lowell with a friend of mine, Keith Bollinger. We got a Facebook group, we got weekly meetings going, we got a forum to talk about what is Occupy, what is it doing at UMass Lowell. So that was pretty exciting. I enjoyed a lot of that work. It got me involved more with the community. It got me more involved with local media relations, which I hadn't done before. So I found that a really satisfying experience, and I hope to build on it. A lot of the things that I thought were good about Occupy, I hope to bring into the legislature.
If you're elected, what are you going to try to accomplish in the legislature?
The first couple things that come to mind would be the privacy and transparency. The other thing would be campaign finance. I'm very concerned by what's needed to get elected, money-wise, and I think that having a tier of local citizens who can try to give you money and try to help you out versus the tier of corporations that can give you lots and lots and lots of money but want you to do certain things their way, I think that produces a conflict of interest, and I would like to see some sort of wall against that.
Okay, wrap up by saying why people should vote for you and put a pirate in office.
Well, I would say that we should put a pirate in office because we are the primary party that's interested in doing privacy and transparency. We are interested in making sure that you know what the government's doing and that you are protected from the government trying to know what you're doing.
Okay, and tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to get more information or lend support.
We do have a website, which is, I believe, masspirates.org, and that can be the primary way of getting in contact with a mass pirate group. If you want to get in contact with me personally, jp4house, FORHOUSE @gmail.com is my business address, and I will respond to those as quickly as I can.
All right. Well, thank you very much for responding to Utopia News, and I hope we can talk more as the campaign goes on.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.